So guys, if you've been playing Destiny Rising since launch, you are now on day 7 of the 14 days sign-in reward event, and the reward this time is the choice of 3 different exotic weapons that you can just pick for absolutely free. Now today we're going to be going over each of these exotic weapons and going over which ones you should pick, and obviously the first thing we need to talk about is of course that certain weapons are locked behind certain characters. So the first thing you're going to need to ask yourself is what characters can actually use these weapons. Well, for the hand cannon Crimson, the only character that can use this currently is a Tarl, so if you don't have her, there's no point in getting Crimson. Same thing goes for Borealis. If you don't have Tan 2, there's no point in getting Borealis. And for Huckleberry, if you don't have either Jolda or Ningfei, there is no point in getting Huckleberry. Do not think about getting any of these weapons unless you have the characters that can actually use them, because it will just be a complete and utter waste. With that said though, let's dive into what these weapons actually do. Now these weapons pretty much function exactly how they do inside of Destiny 2, but there are some slight adjustments, and because this game is vastly different to Destiny 2, these weapons are actually very potent. Even Borealis, which doesn't really see a lot of limelight inside of Destiny 2, which is kind of a nice thing with this game. So let's first go over Huckleberry's main traits. You obviously first have Ride the Bull, which increases rate of fire and recoil while holding down the trigger. Kills with this weapon reload a portion of the magazine. And then you have its other perk called Reincarnation, where final blows with this weapon grant it 15% increased damage for 6 seconds, and this stacks up to 6 times. Now, also, these weapons do come with 3 catalysts as well as a whole load of different catalyst upgrades. So the first catalyst for this weapon states that defeating targets with Huckleberry fully reloads its magazine, reloading while having reached the highest rate of fire, and immediately firing retains the highest rate of fire. Then the second catalyst upgrades Reincarnation to its enhanced form. Then you have, as this weapon's rate of fire increases, its damage also increases by 50%. Then for exotic catalyst boosts, the first one will just give you increased magazine capacity and recoil. Second one's going to give you more range as well as weapon hit damage bonuses. Then you have more handling and reload speed, followed by more recoil as well as another boost to weapon hit damage bonus. Then you have plus range as well as more weapon hit damage bonus, more reload speed and weapon hit damage bonus, and then more stability, magazine capacity, and weapon hit damage bonus. Now, like I've already said, this weapon is only usable on Jolda and Ningfei, and I'm actually going to say that this weapon is going to be much better on Jolda, simply because inside of Jolda's bubble, SMGs automatically reload themselves, so you're going to be very easily able to keep up that high rate of fire and damage bonus, which is going to be very good here. And Ningfei is just a very good character anyway, so having him with a goated SMG like Huckleberry is going to be very good. But if you're wanting the best SMG for Ningfei, I would hopefully try and get the Risk Runner SMG, which I believe you can get from just doing strikes, and it's a very low chance to actually drop. But that SMG is going to be much better for him compared to Huckleberry. Now then, let's talk about Borealis, which can only be used on Tan 2. Its main trait, first off, is the fundamentals. Tap reload to change this weapon's damage type, cycling between solar, arc, and void. And then it has ionic return, where breaking a combatant's shield with a matching element or breaking the shield of a light bearer using a super fully reloads the weapon and grants damage bonus to the current magazine and increases damage of the next 5 rounds. For its first catalyst, this weapon deals 20% increased damage to bosses and powerful combatants. You have this weapon deals 45% increased damage to shields of the same element. And then finally, increased damage of the elemental explosion generated by breaking a shield of the element as this weapon by 100%. For its catalyst boosts, you have more handling and reload speed, followed by stability and weapon hit bonus, then more accuracy and weapon hit damage bonus, more reload speed and weapon hit damage bonus, handling and weapon hit damage bonus, accuracy, weapon hit damage bonus, and then finally stability, reload speed, and weapon hit damage bonus. Now, this Borealis weapon inside of Destiny Rising is probably going to be one of the best exotics in the game, simply because elemental shields are going to be one of the main roadblocks in terms of content. So being able to have a weapon that can switch between any type of shield is going to be very useful, especially for the game mode focused around Xur, which is a roguelike mode and has you going into different encounters with a load of different elemental shields. So having one weapon that you can switch between all three of those different types, once again, it's going to be so good. So definitely, if you have time to, pick up this weapon, because it's going to be insanely good for those types of content and just content generally as well. Now then, let's go over Crimson, the final weapon here today, and the only weapon that cannot be used on a 5-star character, at least for right now, due to Atal being the only character able to use hand cannons. For its first trait, you have Banned Weapon, where this weapon fires a 3-round burst, and then you have Cruel Remedy. Kills with this weapon heal the wielder, and precision kills also refill the magazine. For the first catalyst, the last round with this weapon fires with each shot deals an additional 30% damage. Then you have significantly increases this weapon's stability and grants it 540 increased fire rate. And in the last round this weapon fires with each shot deals an additional 60% damage. Then for its tree here, you have more handling and reload speed, more stability and weapon hit damage bonus, followed by range and reload speed, and accuracy and weapon hit damage bonus, alongside stability and weapon hit damage bonus, accuracy, weapon hit damage bonus, and then finally range, reload speed, and weapon hit damage bonus. Now, even though this is the only exotic weapon from this bundle that cannot be used with a 5-star character, Atal herself is probably one of the best 4-star characters in the game, and I'm probably going to end up making a video on her just because she is so potent. And there is currently a bundle right now where you can get Atal for like less than £1, which is really good, especially if you already have Atal, because you'll be able to get a free upgrade there to her talent tree, which is going to be very potent. Now, if you don't have Atal quite yet, don't really worry about it, because you will be able to run into her just from pulling on the standard banner, and she's going to be way more likely to drop than a 5-star, so she shouldn't be that hard to come by. But alongside that, her single target damage, add clear, and also her healing is absolutely insane, so throwing Crimson onto her with the insane healing potential and insane damage of this weapon is going to be very strong. So overall, all of these weapons are very good, and you do get to pick 2 of them once you get to day 14, so you can pick just whichever one you want really. All of them are really good. The main thing to note is that you do need to just make sure you at least have the character, because there's no point in getting an exotic weapon for a character that you do not have. Now, in terms of how you're actually going to get the catalysts for these weapons, this is where you go to the Synthesize tab here within your main inventory. So you go here, you go to Synthesize, then you hit on the Weapons button down here, and you will see that you'll be able to synthesize different exotic catalysts once you have enough contextual data sets. Now, these only come from the legendary campaign, which did just unlock today if you've completed the new set of story missions. So if you get enough contextual datasets, you'll be able to just craft any exotic catalyst for any of these weapons, which is going to be very good, especially if you choose the correct weapon from those 3 bundles. But if you want to choose a different exotic catalyst, say the ones that you can get very rarely from the Strike playlist, or even the ones that you get from the raid, you can do that as well now. And with that said, that was all I have for you guys today in this video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, I would very much appreciate it. With that all said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.